So the first thing, save myself from hellfire. Fasting, guys, is not just only abstaining from food and drink. What invalidates the fast? Those kind of things, haram already. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wa salatu wassalamu ala ashraf mursaleen wa ba'd. Well, so alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, guys, as you know, Ramadan is just coming super soon. And it's in a couple of days, and we're going, inshallah, to be receiving the mercy and the doors of goodness, the doors of mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for all of us and make sure that we definitely spend Ramadan this time, Ramadan 2025, in a better way than the last Ramadan, obviously. Because that's basically the responsibility on each person, on each, and each Muslim has to definitely make sure that he's better, in a better version of himself this Ramadan than the last one. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala basically made those seasons of ibadah, the seasons of ta'ah, so that we could be better. We could try to change ourselves and improve the inner part, the inner, basically the inner will of yourself, the heart of you, to make sure that you're getting better in terms of ibadah and worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And also you become also better in dunya, because when you understand more things about the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, about the religion, about the ibadah, so definitely that's putting a great impact on you as a Muslim, as a mu'min, and also in the dunya as well. So alhamdulillah rabbi, so that's why we're going to, inshallah rabbi, to have a great presentation here, talking about Ramadan and a lot of even goals and a lot of basically things related and concerned to Ramadan, inshallah. So let's just go to it. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So alhamdulillah rabbi, guys, for the first point here, we do have Ramadan, alhamdulillah rabbi, we ask Allah to make us reach, Allahumma balighna Ramadan ya Rabbil Alameen, to reach Ramadan and reach the blessings of Ramadan and the doors of mercy and everything. So alhamdulillah, as you guys could see here, the table of contents we have in the presentation, we're going to, inshallah rabbi, try to cover as much as we can in the part one, at least for this time. Some of the lessons related to the Ramadan, and really important, and we wish that everyone understands the majesty of Ramadan and the importance and the significance of such a month that comes yearly. Such a month comes once in a year. If you got a special guest in your house, and that guest doesn't come often, it doesn't come that much, a lot, it comes like, once in a blue moon, like people say. So definitely the way how you treat him is going to be different than you treat someone who is consistently coming to your house. It's a habit. Usually we see him. Usually we could look at him in the house, looking at the street, but no one, like, he lives in a really far place, and he comes only in emergency. So the way how you treat him or her is going to be definitely different, because that's what he deserves. So the same exactly for Ramadan. Ramadan, as you know, it's one of the months in the calendar of the Islamic Hijri calendar, and want to make sure, inshallah, that we learn how to behave well and improve it and see the chances of Ramadan. So as you can see, guys, those are the lessons. What is Ramadan? Ramadan goals. Why do Muslims fast? Who should fast? Which is also important to know. And also what invalidates the fast. Everyone has to definitely know those things. And then a short story that'll be by the end there. And how can children participate in fasting, which is also showing the unity of such a brotherhood and such an ummah. Even the little and the old and old ages have to, make sure to be also engaging in such Ramadan. Either in almost, I'm not going to talk about the hukm and the ruling of it. It's mandatory or Sunnah here. I'm talking generally speaking about the blessings and the virtues of Ramadan. They're going to requirements for the validity of fasting. Also important. What are the requirements that they're going to make my fasting be valid? Sunnah of fasting, acts which do not invalidate the fast. Things people make, or they know those things, they break the fast, however they don't. So we want to talk about those things. And then obviously by the last, maybe by the middle of Ramadan, we're supposed to be reminded about the special night, Laylatul Qadr, to get ready for it and try to, roll up our sleeves for it. And then the last 10 nights of Ramadan, the power of dua, which is important in Ramadan, especially in the last 10 nights. and the freedom from the hellfire, عتق من النيران, which is the gift and the present of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the people. They were experienced the fasting in Ramadan, and Zakat al-Fitr, almost the last activity or the last, scene in Ramadan, that you're getting prepared for Zakat al-Fitr and try to, basically send Zakat for the right situation and the right people. So let's get started, inshallah, by the first slide we do have, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, which is, what is Ramadan? I mean, Ramadan is a really, really globally known word. A lot of people know what Ramadan is. Even the non-Muslims, I'm not sure if you know that. A lot of Muslims even know what Ramadan is. Ramadan is a really big month when it comes to the global, to the globe. It's a globally known word. Even the traders, the marketers, the people there in supermarkets, the people there dealing and trading and selling, selling and buying, they know what Ramadan is. And that's why you can find a lot of people there. They're putting sky high prices in supermarket because they know the Muslims right now are in the time of storing food, going there, the parents going to shopping, getting some food, eat meat, chicken, juices, water, eggs, stuff for suhoor and iftar, so it's all supply and demand. So that's a realm. And also all around, a lot of people, even they're non-Muslims, as I said, atheists or Christians, they know that Muslims are fasting, and people, they don't eat and drink here, and that's why they take sometimes, they try to hide a few things because they know the Muslims are fasting. So Ramadan is known. But in terms now of our religion, it's the 9th month of the calendar, of the Islamic calendar, starting from Muharram all the way to the Hijjah. That one is basically lies in the 9th month of the Islamic calendar, and it's also one of the most special months for Muslims worldwide. It's a time of fasting. It's a time of prayer. It's a time that whenever you get outside, look here at yourself. Look at the streets of Ramadan in the night, the streets in the night. When you look there in Ramadan nights and Ramadan days, people they're crowded in the masajid and the mosque and praying and asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive them, making du'as, making salah, making qiyamul layl, making tahajjud. You find that the recitation of the Quran, it gets on for long. You could find the recitation of the Quran, it's not just going to stop by Salat al-Isha. No, it's going to even ever last more than this, like for even 2 hours more. People do qiyam al-layl. So it's so important for us to understand that Ramadan is that kind of definition. And going to the next thing, Ramadan goals. Everyone, I mean, I know what I'm saying. Everyone here, everyone who cares basically about Ramadan, he has goals. He has goals for it. And one of his goals, obviously, to be better this Ramadan than the last Ramadan. Or else, then what is the point? So Ramadan came, as I said, he's a guest. He came to you, and you have to give it what he deserves, or what it deserves. So to be already planning for Ramadan, that's something, it puts so much intelligence in you. And that's why you are in Sha'ban, and now Sha'ban is almost getting over. That's the time for practice. That is the time for you to practice the stuff that you're going to be already experiencing in Ramadan, like fasting. That's why the Prophet ﷺ was fasting more than even 20 days in Sha'ban. More than this, subhanAllah, the Prophet was fasting so many days in Sha'ban. The Prophet ﷺ also taught us that we have to be reading the Quran, Shahrul Qurra, through the companions, stories and narrations about them, radiallahu anhum. So you can see they have so many goals, and that's why obviously Ramadan goals so important. So the first thing, save myself from hellfire. Everyone, this is the wish of everyone. And when you look at the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ about Ramadan, man sama Ramadan imanan wa ihtisaban, whoever fasts Ramadan basically with fulfilling their reward and seeking a reward of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, imanan wa ihtisaban, and sincere from the bottom of his heart to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, غُفِرَ لَهُ مَا تَقَدَّمَ مِنْ ذَنْبِهِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives him all of his sins, all the previous sins, subhanAllah. So obviously, a great goal, save yourself from the hellfire. A chance here, now, in this Ramadan. Accepted dua. Obviously, as I said, this is related to the wishes. Every one of us basically has a dua, has something he's urgently keep asking Allah about. That is a time of you, man. Ask Allah while you're pure, while you're fasting, and ask Allah subhanahu whatever you want. Complete reading the whole Quran. Complete reading the Quran. It's like, subhanAllah, this month is so connected to the Quran, as you already know. Allah said in the Quran, شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن. So that month is so connected to the Quran, so connected to the Quran. So connecting the Quran to basically Ramadan, it's something really amazing and blessing. Then heal in my heart. Everyone has something in his heart, and maybe some people before Ramadan starts, he went in on a lot of changes. Like maybe he lost one of his family, one of his, well, he lost his job, he lost something is really precious for him. So Ramadan, when it comes, and he gets to the Ramadan vibes, and make sure that he's doing his well and praying. So he is like, as if Ramadan is healing his heart, subhanallah. And obviously, it's a great chance for fixing your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala whenever you can find yourself, you're really reading more and practicing more about the Quran and Islamic rituals, obviously fixing relationship with Allah. And what matters a lot, steadfastness. Steadfastness after Ramadan. So don't be like basically like whenever someone who starts something, he just gets so much of it, and after it's over, he gets back to his own mood again. Never do that. Be steadfastness even after Ramadan. Having that steadfastness, the stamina, the endurance, do your best. So basically, when you see this, Ramadan is a camp. Ramadan is like a training camp. For example, if we have a great championship in soccer, and we got here our team, and we already know it's already determined that the date of the final game, the final match, is, like, for example, in April, to April 10th. So from now on, all the way till to April 9th, we are in a camp. Everyone is like, he makes sure, with his coach, to make sure that he's practicing so well, and scoring goals, and how to do with a penalty, and doing this and doing this and doing this fine. Because whenever he reached to the date, he behaves so well. So Ramadan is a training camp for you to be a true Muslim. That is the goal. At the end of the road, you want to become a great Muslim, submitting yourself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and doing extra deeds. And then what is fasting? Ramadan, the month of fasting. Fasting. What is fasting? Fasting, when you look at it to the literal translation, it means that you're abstaining from food and drink from al-fajr, al-maghrib, from the sun, to the sun to dawn, from the dawn, basically, right before even the sunrise. A lot of students have found them, they keep saying from the sunrise. No, sunrise is not fajr. Never think this. Sunrise is the end of Salat al-Fajr. From the azan of Salat al-Fajr, from the dawn time, all the way to the sunset. When the sun basically sets, and the sun basically, leaves basically its place, and that is the time of Maghrib. That's the time you're going to break your fast. From Fajr to Maghrib, that is the duration. That actually varies from a country to another country. So the fast is broken with dates and water, as the Prophet ﷺ used to do, but is not exceptionally on it. Or you could break your fast whatever you want, but you preferably do like the Prophet ﷺ did. And you're abstaining from food and drink, and also what other stuff can invalidate the fast too. And the meal before the fasting starts called suhoor, and the one after called iftar. Well, after that, why do we fast? That's the question a lot of teenagers asking. Why do we fast? Why don't just we become good people and that's it? Why don't we just do that? Why don't we become like better people, and we're gonna be like, we're okay now, we don't need to fast? Why do we need to do that? Well, fasting, when you look at it, fasting, guys, is not just only abstaining from food and drink. Never think it's like fasting. It's like, well, I don't eat and drink, and that's it, and that's how I worship. No, that is so materialistic perspective. Never think it's only about food or drink. No, because you could find people also fasting, not eating and drinking, but they're behaving so bad. They're bad. They're bad at this. They're not good in terms of good manners, and basically adequate. No, they're not. So fasting teaches patience, self-control, and gratitude. So fasting teaches all those lessons you're not going to find in the other things. Why does it teach you gratitude? Because whenever you think about, like, well, subhanallah, I mean, right now I'm not eating from this time to that time. However, people, they're even out of Ramadan. This is what their everyday status is. Every single day they're like the same. Self-control. And what I mean by self-control here is not only about food, also your anger, about your lust, about your desire to do this stuff. So you're controlling yourself not to do the haram for the sake of God. I'm fasting. And that's the real true meaning of the fasting, what it is. So patience, self-control, gratitude, all of that things, alhamdulillah, to make you understand that how why Muslims fast. And this is here, it's a great chance for having a new start in your life. You open a new page with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, with the Lord, a page full of good deeds and abstaining from bad deeds. A great opportunity you can't be really missing. Now going to the part related to who will be doing this. Like who should fast? Is that something everyone going to be, experiencing? Actually, subhanallah, and even that might be really, really even good to the people they keep calling, or they keep basically thinking Muslims or the God of Muslims, who is Allah, the God of everyone, subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one, the creator of everyone. They think fasting is a depriving, is the punishment. Like people get punished by this. Who said that? Subhanallah. Who just firstly even thought that everyone fasts? No, everyone fasts. When you look here how people they're exempted, that shows that how that God is so knowing, subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's all hearing, all seeing. So how he knows basically some people in those cases they're not going to be fasting. So he made the fasting for them be forbidden, subhanallah. The fasting for them, some people, the fasting for them will be not allowed. Or else he'll be dead. And we don't want him to be dead. For the sake of like basically that he's sacrificing himself for the fasting. No, who said that? Allah didn't mean this in the Quran or the Sunnah, subhanAllah. So the first type of people they should fast, the people they are mentally and physically fit. Mentally, they're not like, some, as you guys could know, you've passed by that already, like the Down syndrome or autism, some cases, and some special basically, cases of those things, they might be really not be even able to intend or able to do anything like that, or they're also physically fit. That people that are having sickness that could be preventing them, and we're going to go to the doctors that time to ask them if it's fitting them or not. So you have to be sane and able, qadir wa aqil, to be full of age at the age of puberty. That is the age that all the rulings of Allah are addressed. SubhanAllah. You make sure that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this age now, all of ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, ya ayyuha nas, go to you. You're not exempted. You're in there, included here. So the age of puberty and all of that, it's like around maybe normal for 14, or even could be 15. And children under this age should be encouraged to fast. People, they didn't hit the puberty. We encourage them to fast because preparing them also to whenever it's mandatory on them. To be a resident, and so we not to be traveling, not to be traveling on a journey like about 50 miles or more, even more. No, like al musafir, you got already license, you got rukhsa, you got basically allowance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and also in case of women for hayd wa nifas, basically the menstrual cycle, and also the after the the delivery or the post birth bleeding. So moving from that to the requirements of the validity of fasting. What are the stuff? What should I do so that fasting will be valid? Because fasting itself, without checking the validity, it's nonsense. You're worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Check if it's right or not. So the first thing, obviously, abstaining from food and drink, smoke, and sexual intercourse with one's wife from dawn to sunset. Almost the lust of you. Over smoking, actually, he's not even allowed to smoking. He's even not allowed to see it. It's not. I want you to abstain from smoking all the time. So abstaining from food, drink, and smoking, and also sexual intercourse with one's wife from dawn to the sunset. All of that, subhanallah, you have to abstain from all those lusts and the desires from Fajr al Maghrib, and then having the correct intention. You intend already to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's different from the nafil fasting. Different from there. You're intending to fast in the month of Ramadan, and make sure when you're intending, the intent has to be before Fajr starts. Also, the stuff, this is really also important, the sunan al-siyam. Sunan that basically of fasting, desirable acts of fasting. Like some of the Prophet ﷺ used to do, that makes your fasting be more rewarding. So, for example, to take a night meal, the suhoor. Some people, they're like, I'm okay, I'm good. And they drink like a little sip of water, like in the midnight, and then his parents keep trying to wake him up, and he doesn't wake up. Keep trying to wake him up until it doesn't work. And then he wakes up at his own normal time, then get red dressed and go to school. Man, and you ask him, where's the suhoor? He's like, I don't need food. I don't eat. It's not about food. It's not about drink. It's about fulfilling the sunnah. Reviving the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Suhoor barakah. كما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. Breaking the fast as soon the Maghrib, adhan al-Maghrib comes. Some people, they procrastinate and delay the time. They're like, no, whenever it says, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, I'm going to be breaking my fast. Who said that? Once it's clear, you're sure clearly that it's the adhan al-Maghrib, then start breaking your fast once. And also saying the dua, which not a lot of people even know, that is the right dua for, because some people say other duas. No, that is the authentic one. And the Prophet ﷺ said, ذهب الظمأ وبتلت العروق وثبت الأجر إن شاء الله. Also, more sunnah to avoid any act that's contradictory to fasting. Anything is going against the fasting, obviously also has to be also abstaining from. I mean, lying, backbiting, slandering, cheating, lying, stealing, robbing, all with haram things. Anything is against the fasting purpose. It's important to avoid, obviously. To do good deeds, give charity, and pray the Taraweeh, Quran, be in dhikr. Don't be like wasting your time by playing video games and stuff like they're not really, not really related to the religion. Make sure, guys, like, make your time, make the best use of your time. Your time, you'll be asked of your time. You'll be asked about everything. So this is basically also important. Last thing I want to make sure, what invalidates the fast? What will break your fasting? And also, it's important to know, but here we're gonna like put a great rule for us. The first thing, what breaks the fast and requires only qada, and then the stuff they're going to be breaking your fast and require qada and kaffara. We're gonna talk about it. So the first type, eating or drinking. Someone ate or drink deliberately. You need to understand it. Deliberately eating and drinking. But what about if someone ate by accident? فَلْيُتِمَّ صَوْمَهُ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ أَطْعَمَهُ وَسَقَاهُ. Let him just continue fasting. It's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's word. It's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's basically ease on him. And then he said, deliberately causing oneself to vomit. Like if someone is like putting his finger play and he deliberately knows that will be causing to vomit, break his fast, the Prophet said. And also the menstruation, and also the basically ejaculation for reasons other than sexual intercourse or wet dreams. Someone already, as masturbating or those kind of things, haram already, they're already considered as zina. Okay, also basically breaking your fast. The second type that breaks the fast and you require qada wa kaffara. This actually has a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ for the guy that he came to the Prophet, who was poor, and he was complaining that he had a sexual intercourse with his wife and he's confused what to do. And the Prophet ﷺ told him to break it, you have to make sure that you to be in pain the kaffara, which is basically the kaffara here, as I said, it's set as slave free. So to say a slave free, if a slave is not available, then he must fast for the 2 continuous months. So he goes in this order. If that's not available, I'm gonna go to this. If it's not available, I'm gonna go to this. And if it's not available, he's not like physically, medically is not suitable for him to do that, he must then feed 60 people, one average size meal each. So for example, someone did that, and obviously there's no free slaves now to free. Then what are you going to do? You're going to now simply go to the next step, which is fasting 2 continuous months. If you're able to do it, you have to. Now look here at how hard that kafara is, that, and shows the greatness of the act. It's bad. It's so great though. يعني هذا عظيم. What are you doing? It's already a type of the fasting that to abstain from the lust. So breaking your fast by making such a thing like which is sexual intercourse, it won't just go easy. So this is basically it for now. So I mean, guys, also the acts which do not invalidate a fast, I'll be done with this baying thing. All that will not break anything of your fasting. Wearing kuhl, kiss one's wife or husband, like the innocent kiss, like if someone is kissing his wife before he goes to his work, on his forehead or even in her cheeks, without there's a lust behind it to do something. Rinsing your mouth or nostrils with water if it's like so hot. That time it's all right. Swallowing and avoidable things Like, so your saliva, a lot of people ask, like, what about if I if I swallow my, all that are right, all that are right. Tasting food for the mothers, may Allah help them in this month. All the things, inshallah, are not going to be invalidating the fasting. Also, taking injections, as long as they're not nutritional, they are not, if it's basically with nutrients on it, it's vitamins or those things, most likely breaks the fast, as most scholars said. But if it's like antibiotic or something like that, then it will not break the fast. Smelling flowers or wearing perfumes that is going to, or anything has jurm, anything is going to create like a something in your throat. Also, basically, that will break the fast. But this one is not. Smelling flowers or wearing perfumes are right, as long as it didn't make something in your throat to break your fast. Experiencing a wet dream, someone woke up in the middle of the night and he found himself he's wet, that will not break your fast. Carry on, man, you're good. Eating and drinking due to forgetfulness, as we said. Involuntary vomiting, just by accident. All the things, inshallah, guys, we're going to talk, and we're going to pause in this one, and inshallah, next time in the part 2, we're going to talk about the stuff related to basically the stuff that after like mid of Ramadan we have to remind us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for all of us, and we have to, guys, have to roll up our sleeves again and get ready to make sure that Ramadan this year is way better. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for all of us. جزاكم الله خيرا سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك والسلام عليكم.